Cheryl Dorsey is a retired Los Angeles police sergeant and the author of Black and Blue. She's joining us now via Skype from Southern California. Cheryl, a pleasure to have you on. I do want to get this father's story out because he did respond, and we should give him the airtime as well. He talked about how he has his own unique history, his father being murdered outside his home by a trespasser. This father on the phone said that he had been robbed several times. So his defense says, look, I was just taking the precautions that I took based on my history. What is your reaction to that?
Well, listen, it sounds very disingenuous to me, and he's had some time to craft a story. And so I just wonder, we'll never know, how many other times has he called the police on anyone of any ethnicity based on his lived history? So, this is the indignity that we as Black people have to deal with on a regular basis. And for him to label this man as a trespasser based on what? There was no foundation for that label, and thank God officers didn't respond as we've seen them do in the past, exacerbate a situation and wind up arresting Mr. Wesly for interfering, which is a thing that happens once officers put hands on you for no good reason. This could have gone sideways, and he had his child with him. As his father was really killed by someone, you think having his own child with him would have given him pause, right?
Okay, yeah, that's a good point. I mean, so what could he have done differently then?
If he was really, truly concerned, he could have stepped away from a distance, kept an eye on him, called the police, gave a description as he did, and not been so confrontational. To accuse him of not really having business there, how many times have pedestrians and vehicles piggybacked, if you will, with someone in front of you, whether you're entering a building, whether you're driving into a gated community? Oftentimes others will let you follow them in just as a courtesy. So what was it about this man? He wasn't disheveled, he wasn't dirty, he didn't look out of place, other than the fact that he was a Black man that made this white man think he didn't belong there and therefore was trespassing.
I think the reason why there was so much outrage, and you could probably speak better to this, and so many views of this video, is that I think people were reminded of the injustices that happen every day in America, where people look at a Black person and say, you don't belong here. We've seen this happen at universities, where I think it was a graduate student, as she was sleeping on the dorm sofa in a common area, and a white student saw her, didn't think she belonged there, and called the police. So talk to the fact that, I mean, seems to be a common experience in America.
And sadly, there's a hashtag for it, living while Black. We can't go to parks, we can't barbecue, we can't get water in convenience stores. I mean, everything is now subject to scrutiny, and that's why you're starting to see laws being passed where people who do just what this gentleman did, call 911 and abuse it based on nothing, are subject to now criminal liability. Because you don't get to look at somebody and decide based on your situation that they don't belong there. Call the police.
Do you think these laws go far enough, though? I mean, you're referring to Oregon and Michigan, and they're cracking down on these racially motivated 911 calls. And if you're found guilty, then you would have to pay, I think it's a $250 or $500 fine. But does that go far enough? I mean, it doesn't address the root causes of these biases and racism.
Well, listen, you're not going to be able to get into the heart and mind of every single person that might be inclined to do that. But I tell you what, I think what should happen is when emergency services are diverted and officers have to come and respond to nonsense like this, in addition to everything else that's on the table, I think the person should be required to pay the salary of those officers, however many show up, that were diverted from real police services, and maybe the financial liability will cause people to think twice before they do that. But right now, if there's no accountability, this is fun. Let's do that again, right?
Yeah.
How do you deter it?
Yeah, absolutely. Cheryl Dorsey, you raise really important and salient points. We appreciate you joining us. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.